today, the House of Representatives, in collaboration with its partners, PLAC and the European Union, today held a conference to focus on how, within the Constitution amendment process, the bills to amend the laws in favor of women in governance were being discussed. And we have participation from the continent and outside of the continent. And those lawmakers, experts, are speaking about how important or how vital the roles of women would be in governance. In fact, factors bedeviling the roles of women in governance were raised today. Let me allow you to listen to some of the sound bites at that conference today.
We must work towards joint ticketing in elections, reserved seats, and conferring equal citizenship rights to foreigners married to Nigerian women. However, reform is a collective responsibility, and we cannot simply issue communiques or promises. We must translate today's dialogue into real, actionable outcomes. The Constitution Review Committee has engaged with key institutions, including the judiciary and Conference of Speakers of State Assemblies, and received submissions from citizens and stakeholders across the country. Now we must build on these consultations and rise with actionable models of inclusion that reflects Nigeria's unique context.
The disparity in gender representation at the state and local levels could even be higher. And I say this passionately because Nigeria continues to provide leadership to many of us. As a young woman who grew up in the ghettos of Ghana, I've been inspired by Nigerian women, even in the United Nations, where we have Amina Mohammed, Deputy Secretary General, Okonjo Iweala, head of WTO, Ahunez Yakonwa, head of UNDP Africa. How is it possible that we are not able to make a dent? But the good news is that the time is right now, and the incredible leadership and political will of this auspicious 10th National Assembly is one that we will celebrate.
All right. The woman who is chairing the Women Affairs Committee in the House of Representatives and chair of the Women Affairs Committee and Social Development in the House, and a member of the House of Representatives representing Koshofe constituency in Lagos, a member of the APC, Honorable Kafilat Agbara, is live with us on the program tonight. Thanks so much, Honorable, for joining us.
Thank you very much, Sean, for having me.
Thanks so much for your patience. It's good to see you on the program tonight. The disparity in women participation in politics and governance is evident in that chair you are sitting. That 1 out of 100 people who sit in that chair on this program, which is a political program, is a woman. And averagely, I see a woman come on this program sparingly. And invitations usually go to women. But either for the virtue of them being shy or some reasons there are not, it's a lot of them in the political space that cause this. And you can also see in the 10th Assembly, the women in the National Assembly, for example, is bad. It was worse than what we had in the 9th Assembly. In the 10th Assembly, we're having about 3 out of 109 seats occupied by women. In the House of Representatives, 4 now, right? In the House of Representatives, we understand about 13 of you. 16. 16 now, right? Are female. In fact, it's one less than the 9th Assembly. What did you discover today in that your conference that has caused this dwindling representation of voices or voice of a woman in the political and governance space?
Well, today we had an international legislative dialogue, and all thanks to the leadership of the House of Representatives and, of course, the National Assembly for having the political will to support the women. It has never been this good in the history of the National Assembly. And the bill that we are trying to push now is being sponsored by the Deputy Speaker,
Who is
of
a
the
man?
House of Representatives, Right Honorable Benjamin Kalu.
That's interesting.
Yes.
That some of us men are pushing for the interest of women.
We need them to push it so that because they understand what it really is. Not everybody wants to support inclusion, but we need to accept and understand that inclusion is a fundamental human right. Until we accept that it is our right, then many people will know that it is a thing that we really need to do. Because even global, national, regional, even situational analysis, any analysis you want to talk about that has to do with women political representation will still boil down, whether as players or as beneficiaries of political gains, we still boil down to the fact that it is a criteria for national development, for strengthening even our democracy and promoting our democracy. So when we are speaking about women representation, we are not just saying it for any selfish gain anywhere. It's for the interest of you, Sheung, yourself, your family, your daughter, your sister, your aunt, and even all women around you. It's for the interest of national development. Because even if you look at a unit of a home, if you have a woman in a home and that woman is having something to do, she's adding value to the family, she's bringing, something on the table, and she's independent to an extent. I'm not saying the man should not be, the man can also be. But a home like that, you find that the children are automatically okay. She doesn't need to wait for the man. If anything, eventualities happen to the man, she will still be able to cope and still be able to go on. You see a lot of families where probably the breadwinner, as so-called the breadwinner, as the men, if anything happens to them, there's catastrophe in the home. And the children become, drug addicts, they become dropouts in schools and all that. So when women are empowered, if you have a home that is empowered, look at that instance and place it on every home.
There's some profession that you need
invariably the nation, will be nice.
There's some profession that you need to give kudos to. Banking is one of them. I'm guessing that we have a lot more women as bank MDs today in Nigeria than we've ever had in our history. And even there are a lot of leadership in the media by women who are playing lead roles in management of the media in Nigeria today. And kudos to those kind of sectors that have recognized the role of women. And some of us are he for she in the sense that we had a good fight when we were in school. Women will want to contest first, second, third position with you.
They don't contest. They always get it.
I mean, to be honest, and you wonder what happens. And there is a university, Afebabala University, who graduated law student, out of about 19 first-class graduates in that university, in that law graduation, were all ladies, girls who graduated with first class. And so if women are excellent educationally and intellectually, why are they not found in the public space to hold position of governance? You've identified today religion, cultural issues as the barriers. Today. Are you able to fight that?
Yeah, we are going to, with the support of our men. We have said that we are not competing with them. We want to complement them. And this is why we want to break all those barriers. We have cultural barriers where we have deep-rooted, norms that militate against the women. We still have states in this country where a woman dare not pick a political form to contest. If you pick that form in the morning, by evening, terrible things would have happened in your home because they would have started the stigmatization, they would have started the harassment, abuse, and all that. We have states in the north like that where our members have confirmed that women cannot even pick the forms in their states. And we have cultural barriers as well. We think that we, as a nation, we need that political will, like we have said. And we have that political will from the leadership of the House. And I believe that the president of the country, too, has that political will because we know that it's gender sensitive. And financial barrier as well. We know that a lot of women cannot afford politics, the expenses in politics. Politics is very expensive, and this is the truth. But we need the right legal framework. When we have the right legal framework and also promote gender-responsive, policies, we are going to have a better headway. So what we discussed today is to, bring stakeholders together where everybody can brainstorm, bring up our ideas. And some of the ideas we have discussed today is about having special seats for women. Affirmative action. You want to call it affirmative action, you want to call it special seats, you want to call it reserved seats, whatever way you want to call it. We need special attention for our women to be politically positioned because the women have been left behind for too long. Historically, there had been so much deficit, and we need to catch up. So we are saying that once the Constitution is amended, for us to have special seats in the House of Representatives and in the Senate as well, you know, the women will be able to have the experience, to have the exposure as well. And another option is for us to have the abolishment of single-gender list. We need political party reforms where every political party will know that they cannot submit a single list of all men to the electoral body as their candidates. It should be an abomination. So we want our political parties to reform, and, you know, there are constitutions also enshrined in it that for every list per state, there must be women representation. So once we know this, once it becomes a law, once the Electoral Act is amended and the Constitution also amended, today we invited, you know, the Conference of Speakers as well. We had the First Lady of Kwara State, who is the coordinating First Lady of all our First Ladies across the nation. We have appealed to the Conference of Speakers that across the state, because the National Assembly cannot do it alone. We need all our state houses of assembly to join, you know, in the amendment of that constitution. And of course, our First Ladies, we have appealed to them. Kwara State has done so well on affirmative action, and we appeal to all our other states to emulate what Kwara State has done. So we are appealing to all our First Ladies to speak to their husbands where they will hear, where they will listen. Because we have said that the men are the head, but the women are the neck. Wherever we turn them is where they will go. So we believe so much in our First Ladies to influence, you know, the decisions of the men.
One of the First Ladies said in that program that, in fact, in some of their states in the north, they do not even recognize that the governor has, there's a woman beside the governor. Is that bad? I would like you to explain or tell us about the bill, the details of the bill, and what it portends for the, is it only in the legislature or in the executive? How are you going about it? But we need to go on a break. But let me just remind you, they are fabulous, amazing women who are doing great things. You mentioned Okonjo Iweala, Amina Mohammed, Adizabala Usman, Bolaji Agbede, Kofu Akinkunmi, Adesuwa Dozie, Shola Momo, Folorunsho Alakija. You can mention them. Doing amazing in private and public life. So why are we not creating space or spaces for them to play a major role if these women all by themselves are able to make this mark in the society? What is wrong in our political and governance space? We'll be discussing this and more of that when we return from this break, everyone. Join us. Staying with us, Honorable Kafela Tobara is the chairperson, because a lot of the times also we need to be conscious about the politics of the language to understand what it means to have inclusion. Because almost all of the seats that have been tagged after the men folk, chairman. The right word is the chairperson when a woman is in place. The chairperson of the Women Affairs Committee and Social Development in the House of Representatives, representing Koshofe constituency in the House of Representatives. Thank you so much indeed.
Thank you for having me.
Give us an understanding of this bill. This is not the first time that this sort of bill is coming up and never saw the light of day. It means that it has been shut down by your colleagues in the National Assembly. What gives you the hope that this one will go through? Yes,
each time we speak about affirmative action or, you know, giving women representation, the first thing that comes to the mind of our men is, whose seat are you coming for? Because they believe, I mean, automatically 1 or 2 people will be displaced in every state, or even 3 people or 4 people. It depends on, you know, how it goes. So, but what we are saying in this case is that we are coming in a subtle manner to say that, look, in the interest of equity, fairness, and being just, we must have the right, you know, representation of women. Because a nation that decides to underutilize the potentials of about half of our population, we go nowhere. And this is the truth, is a reality.
How are you appropriating
so what we are doing now,
seats?
What we are doing now, we are saying that we want 2 seats per state, 1 to the House of Representatives, 1 to the Senate per state.
So out of the 3 seats in the Senate, 1 has to be...
No, extra seats.
So it will now be 4
4 senators, additional rep for every state. So we are looking to having
is that
2
economical?
extra. Yeah, it is economical because the price we are going to be paying to have the length of the women in decision making. You are going to be, saving a lot of cost because women are great managers, and this is the truth. You have mentioned a lot of women that have done so well. When you underutilize the potentials of our women, the nation will go nowhere.
So the
and this
question is that there are those who have advocated that the National Assembly is too cumbersome. In fact, there are those who will say, collapse it, let it be a unicameral legislature. Now, with this bill, you are even increasing what has become...
We accept. People accept this. But we are saying that there is no price that is too much for the inclusion of women. The women have been left behind for too much.
Even when the nation cannot afford it.
Mr. Sheung, what we are losing by not including our women is far more expensive than what we are going to gain by including our women. This is the reality.
Allowing this law to force the political party.
And we are saying, yes, I've told you, that is an option. That is why we had the dialogue today. We have another option of abolishing single-gender lists, where our political parties will ensure that there will not be any list that will be only men to the electoral body. There must be at least 1 woman or 2 that will contest election in every state. That is not seeking for extra seats. That is ensuring that whatever list is going from any political party, all our political parties, there must be women on the list. And the men know how to get these women in every state. They will tell you the women are not coming out, women are not contesting. But when you go to the political party meetings, you find out that the numerical strength of the women is far higher than what the men have to offer. And the women participate so much in politics, but when it comes to the dividends of democracy, the dividends of all those efforts, you will find the women not being there. And when you are even having events, social events, political events, whatever it is, you see the men all lined up on the high table. They won't even give any consideration for a woman to be there. And this has been so consistent, it has been so, regular, and the society is getting so used to it. And we are saying, no, this has to stop. We are not enforcing it. We are not insisting. We are not, fighting about it. We are just speaking to the truth that the women, it is their fundamental right, and the women must be included. Right. The women must be carried along. And we want to thank the President, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for the inclusion that he has done in his cabinet. We can see that a lot of our women are being, represented in the cabinet, and of course, is meeting up with the affirmative action. Although
Betta Edu was not replaced by another woman. You look at the people, 7 people that have, they are all men that are replacing. 2 women are now out of that cabinet.
Jumoke is in, and
Jumoke is in. Out of 7, 6 are men. 1 is a woman. So 2 women are out. 1 is there to replace those 2 women.
We'll get them.
Now, in the other part, you're talking about the legislature, and you have talked about in the parliament, in the House of Reps and the Senate. You are asking for additional seats. That will be 4 per state, and additional...
Just one per state.
So that means we will have to create another federal constituencies in every state of the federal. That will be 4 women. Now, the question is that which constituency will be a woman constituency? Now, the other part of my question will be the fact that for the executive, how are you going to deal? Because I understand that you're proposing that there should be more joint tickets that will include women.
Yes. Joint ticket means when we have a governor in a state, the deputy should be a woman. When we have a local government chairman as a woman, the deputy should be a man. When we are speaking about gender, we are not speaking about just the women. We are talking about balancing the gender parity, because it's very important. The way...
So are you saying like the president too now, the vice president, if the president is a man, the vice president, or you didn't go there?
Yeah, it's the same. That's what we're saying.
So
at every level.
So this is what it means, that if President Bola Tinubu wants to run again invariably, that's what you mean. That a woman has to be his vice. That's what you're saying. It
will be a gradual process. Let's even start from the bottom before we get to the top. But we are saying
Why don't start from the top and take it to the bottom?
We can start from anywhere. We are promoting women at every level, and that is what we stand for. And what we are saying is that people should not see it as women advocating. We need our men to understand this. It's about national development.
But again, it's a problem within the political party. So how is this proposition in the bills that you are putting forward, how is it catering for the sensibilities of the politicians and the political party leadership?
Thank you very much. This is why we had this dialogue, and representatives from, political parties were there, and we are still going out to meet with the, national leaders of all our political parties. We need them to, key into this, even our governors forum, all our governors, because we need the support of all our governors, because they are the ones that decide what candidate goes where in many of our states. So if the governors do not key into this, we are going to have a problem. And most of the time, even in the House.
In your party, Honorable, apart from the woman leader, which other position is held by a woman?
We had other.
I'm saying in terms of percentage, because charity begins at home. Political party leadership needs to be conscious. For this to work in governance, political parties, there are supposed to be laws or bills proposed to also make political parties responsible to some of these advocacy.
Today. And I'm very happy about your point of view, because you are also contributing to the dialogue. And these are the things we are discussing. Even this bill that we are proposing, there are a lot of concerns. Some women already have fears that, look, if we start talking about special seats, let it not be that they will now come and pack all of us and say, okay, every woman should go for special seats. And then the statutory seats that women already hold will now, go to the men. So these are some of the areas we are trying to address, and this is the essence of this. And today we are trying to collate all the ideas together. We are still having our, evening get-together today, where we are going to be we won't be too formal about the discussion. And if you were at that, outing this afternoon, you found out that there was a man that even stood up to speak and started asking about if a woman wants to contest an election, they want to know her marital status, they want to know if she's capable. These are some of the mentality that, some people have, and they will never support, such a bill. And we are saying that such issues should never arise. Such issues should not be the issues that will be addressed, because we don't ask the men about their marital status. Why will you be asking a woman about her marital status before she can contest an election? And a lot of our states, a lot of our leaders in many states, they believe that a woman must have this criteria, must have that criteria, that they normally will never ask a man. These are some of the cultural barriers that we are speaking about. And some unspoken, issues, some spoken norms that we have, but they exist, but we think they don't exist, but they exist loudly, and they affect the women. Most of the time when the women go for political meetings and come back late at night, the family members of the husband will say, where is she coming from so late? Why is she coming so late? But if it's the man, nobody will ask such questions. So these are some of the barriers that the women face. And of course, violence, when we have political outings, a lot of women are afraid because they don't think they can face what it takes politically because of the violence aspect of it. So we need to strengthen a lot of our, women law and all that. So, and that is what we are doing in the House now. There are a lot of laws that are propagating, violence against women, to eliminate all this violence in every form. Because there are women, it's not until you are violated physically. Some are violated psychologically, mentally, and even otherwise. So there are a lot of laws that we need to promote and support in the House. So for now, on the special seats, we are seeking for 2 seats extra in every state so that it can give the women more exposure and experience. And this law will be reviewed after every 16 years. We'll review it and see if it suits us, if it works for us, because every law must be able to stand the test of time. And every law that works for one person must work for everybody.
So quickly, Honorable, what did you learn, or what have you learned from what happened to the fate of this bill initially in the past constitutional amendment? Because whatever befell it, are you worried that it could also happen to this proposition?
Yes, thank you very much. In the last assembly, I was not there, but I believe that the conversation did not start early the way we have started this conversation now. And a lot of stakeholders need to be carried along. For instance, in the North, we have the ulamas, these alfas, Islamic clerics, that strongly believe that, some things can just not be. Some believe that women should not even be seen at all. They should not even be heard. Some believe that they can be heard, they should not be seen. So all these type of areas where we have deep cultural norms, we need, to take our campaign there to make them see reason on the importance of, elevating their women. Even if they are the ones that will nominate the women. You want to say something?
Yeah, I like to also chip in an age, a particular thought here, maybe something that you can work in, and maybe it might be part of our national orientation, because there are those who will say you're actually killing the symptoms, you are not dealing with the cause of the problem. Are you able to go down to the schools? Because this has to go down to the mentality of the African or the Nigerian girl, the way they're being brought. Because if this is deep into our culture, into our religion, you cannot come to the national level when a woman is already formed. The timidity is already in the heart of that woman. How do you then cure it? Because the formation is already done.
Thank you very much. This is a long-term aspect of our campaign. But the immediate and short-term solution that we need is for the passage of this bill. We need the special seats, and we need to abolish single-gender list. We need to ascertain that every political party, all the political parties, all of them must reform their constitution, amend their constitution, and know that henceforth they will not be submitting only men as their candidates for any for the electoral office. And the aspect of the schools that you're talking about, there is the catch them young aspect that we have in our campaign. It's not only the schools. We need to go, it's not secondary school, we have to go even to the kindergarten level and ensure that the girl children are positioned for political offices. You know, at the level of primary schools, we have head boys, head girls. We need to encourage our girls. And even at the homes, we need to continue to sensitize our mothers that the girl child can do what the boy child can do. The boy child can do what the girl child can do. You don't tell your boy to be pressing the game on the TV and your girl child is washing the plates. The boy should also be able to wash the plates and do vice versa. So this is where all the problems emanate from, and we are going to, you know, address it headlong.
All right, thank you so much indeed. And I wish you the very best, you and your colleague. I saw Honorable Zuma from South Africa, a few other prominent people on the continent and globally who are joining forces. Some of us are advocates and ambassadors of the she in governance and in politics, because we do know that some of the names that I mentioned earlier are doing very well in their sectors. Thank you so much, Honorable Kafila. And you need to come on the program to talk about not only women also. I'm advocating for some of your colleagues in the National Assembly.
Anytime. You just called me. You called me less than an hour ago, just about an hour ago, and I'm here. I didn't plan to be here.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But that's our show for tonight, everyone. Well, I'm saying to these to all women out there, whether you're a girl child, you're a lady, you're a woman, you've got something that is spectacular on the inside of you. Do not let any religious or cultural barrier to hold you back. The greatness within you, let it roar like a lion and let it germinate. Let it come out and flourish. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Showa Kimale. God bless Nigeria.